What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of Facts Not Included. It's Tangent Fridays. I'm your host, Peter Cabranes. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Rise of Skywalker. It's only 1 week away, and we're extremely excited to know what is going to happen in the conclusion of the Skywalker saga. Just want to play a quick little clip for you. Spoilers, maybe, if you guys don't want to see or listen to a clip from the Rise of Skywalker, but this clip is extremely interesting. It has to do with Palpatine and Kylo Ren, and Palpatine telling him a little bit of something that he may have, should have found out a long time ago.
At last. My boy. I have been every voice you have ever heard inside your head.
We'll talk about that scene in just a moment, but we are going to talk about my expectations, my hopes, my worries about the Rise of Skywalker. A lot of news has been coming out, a lot of fake news, a lot of real news, a lot of facts, no facts, just a lot of opinions from a lot of people. And that's what we're going to give you here. But we're going to try to give you as much of reality as possible. So the Rise of Skywalker, as we know, is coming out December 20th. Of course, it comes out December 19th on Thursday for a lot of people as well. That is when I'm going to check it out by myself. But the guys and I are going to be checking out it on Saturday. Giant IMAX theater in Manhattan. The big old screen that was like 3 stories tall. The big giant IMAX in Manhattan. That's where we're going to check that out. But The Rise of Skywalker, for me, is a movie that needs to answer a few questions. It needs to be able to tell a cohesive story with the new characters, but as well as kind of answering some questions from back in the day. Exactly as to what's going on in this movie. Well, question number 1 is, how is Palpatine alive? How is Palpatine still alive? And we have an understanding that maybe he's not Palpatine from Return of the Jedi. Maybe he's Palpatine in a different form. Maybe he's just a soul or some sort of body, some sort of life form at this point. But we do see some sort of being in the second trailer from The Rise of Skywalker, so it's very possible that he is full-bodied, actual Palpatine from the Death Star 2. Again, we're not 100% sure about that. If you know anything about the leaks that have been coming out, which seems, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be extremely honest here. This scene that I just played more or less confirms some of the leaks that have been coming out. And that's, for some people, that's a little troublesome because though this scene was executed what seems to be extremely well and it looks amazing, there are other leaks that have been coming out that if this is to be led to be true, then those are led to be true, seem a little bit concerning for other moviegoers. Again, so far I've read all the leaks. I enjoy the idea. I enjoy the story that JJ has come up with for Episode 9. What are some things that Episode 9 needs to answer as well besides why is Palpatine alive? Who is Rey really? Because, again, this is something that I've had conversations with Antonio, with Mike, and with other people about in regards to Rey. And I know in The Last Jedi, a movie that I really, really, really like, they mention that Rey's parents are basically nobodies. They're basically drunk people that didn't really give a shit about their daughter. They left her on a planet and went bye-bye. Now, though that may be true from a certain point of view, as they say in Star Wars, right? The reason I say that And a lot of people are getting upset because they're like, they're going to retcon a lot of stuff from The Last Jedi. They're just going to make sure The Last Jedi never existed. I don't think that's what they're doing. Here's what I think is happening. A lot of information that was said in The Last Jedi was given by individuals that may or may not have the full story. What do I mean by that? Look who told her that her parents were nobodies. Kylo Ren. Granted, yes, she said, yeah, I know. But because maybe that's something she's always just thought about. She's thought about every scenario about who her parents are. So, of course, whatever Kylo tells her, she's going to believe. So if Kylo said your parents were the king and queen of planet Oxion 9. Yeah, of course they were. No, but your parents were just drunkards and they were nobodies. They were nobodies. They were completely irrelevant to the story. And that's fine if that was true. But who is Kylo Ren? Who is he to tell this girl, this woman, who her parents are? He doesn't know jack shit. He was probably told by Snoke, or he made it up himself. That's why I believe that we are going to find out her real lineage in this movie. And again, it could still be that, but it also could be Palpatine. It could be anything else. Maybe she was brought together by midichlorians, the Force, and that's how she was created, which explains probably why she's X, Y, and Z good at all this stuff. You know? So there's that. That's another question that maybe should or would be answered in this movie. Another thing is, how is the Death Star how is Palpatine bringing back all this old Imperial warships? How did this happen? Who's working with Palpatine? Who's working for Palpatine? There's theories out there that Snoke was a puppet for him. Literally, he cloned Snoke, and there's several Snoke clones out there. Hence why he says in that little piece right there, every voice that you've ever heard was me inside your head, or whatever the line is. But more or less that when you were talking to your Vader mask in The Force Awakens and before that, that was me, man. That was me, Palpatine. I'm trying to get you, bro. I've been trying to get your family for years, you know? Oh, that Snoke guy that you thought you were talking to, that you thought he helped you out? No. That was me the whole time. I cloned that guy. I created that guy. That was me the whole time. And that's insane to think that Palpatine will go to such great lengths to continue to mess with this family. You know, continue to wreak havoc on the Skywalker family. A family that he more or less has been a part of since before the events of Episode 1. Because if it is led to be true that Anakin was created by the Force, it is obviously led to believe that either him or Plagueis created Anakin Skywalker. And so Palpatine has been involved with the Skywalker family at least 9 or more years before the events of Episode 1, and is continuing to be a part of this family, and not leaving them alone, pretty much, right? So, it's really exciting to know what's going to happen in this movie. I'm really excited to see where all of this is going to be landing and where it's going to be going. I'm excited to see where Lando's story goes. Does he die? Does he continue to live? What happens to Chewbacca? C-3PO. There's this idea that C-3PO is going to deprogram or uninstall, if you will, kind of reset his brain, just in order to read some Sith text or something. And in order to do so, he has to go dark or something like that. And that explains why he's saying bye to his friends. It's incredible. What's going to happen to Rose? What's going to happen to Finn? What's going to happen to Poe? All these questions are obviously going to be answered in this movie, but are we going to be satisfied? And that leads me to my next point, the return of J.J. Abrams. This is a gentleman, this is a man, this is for some people a godlike figure who brought back Star Wars in such a way in 2015 that no one expected. No one expected the incredible explosion that The Force Awakens created. Say what you want about that movie. Say what you want about it being a quote-unquote rehash of A New Hope, a retelling of A New Hope, whatever. It's a pretty freaking good movie. I'm going to say that right off the bat. If that's the first ever Star Wars movie we've ever were given, that's an awesome movie. I understand why people are upset, because it's kind of like, oh, it's the same thing as A New Hope. But it's something that I've talked to a couple of individuals about. Star Wars has certain notes that it needs to follow, and telling that story again is not illegal in that sense, you know? It's a Star Wars plot point. It's a Star Wars story, you know? So it would have been bound to be happening again. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay that it happened again, you know? So anyway, JJ returns for many reasons. You know, Colin Trevorrow was fired or left or whatever. They needed a savior. There was a lot of issues, of course, going behind the scenes, and then with fans, with the divisiveness that was Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi. And so Kathleen Kennedy was like, we got to bring back someone who knows what they're doing, or at least someone we know we could trust. And they brought back JJ. I am concerned. I'm going to be honest. I am concerned. Still concerned. I've been concerned since they brought him back. JJ is notoriously known not for closing out a series all that well. And this is the closeout of a major series. It's a 9-episode saga. If you can't nail this one, then fuck. You know, what are we going to be left with for the rest of our lives, you know? I know it sounds like, well, Pete, it's just a movie. Yes and no. I mean, for a lot of people, it's their livelihood, this franchise. So, anyway. Again, going back to... So again, J.J. Abrams, I have faith in you, but I'm also very concerned. But that's fine. You know, it's to be expected. I think if whoever was put in this place, I'd be concerned. If there was Colin Trevorrow, I'd be the same way. Who is this guy? Why did they give him this job? He's only done Jurassic World, you know, all that stuff. They gave it to Rian Johnson. I would have been the same way regardless of who did it. I would have preferred Rian Johnson or Colin Trevorrow, I think, in my actual opinion. But being that it's JJ, I can't help but go, okay, give him a chance. But I'm just very concerned, regardless of who's at the helm of this movie, what the ending is going to be like. That's all. What the ending is going to be like. And if the leaks are true, I dig the ending. A lot of people... I'm talking to some people online. I'm watching some videos online. Some people don't dig the ending. I dig it. I dig the ending. I don't want to give that away, because we're not going to talk about that here, because I don't want to spoil that ending, because it seems like it might be real. And I dig the leak ending. I dig that a lot. But anyway, so my question is, let's move on here to another topic about the Rise of Skywalker, of course. Is who's going to die in this movie? Let's be honest. Who is going to die? Now, we have a list of characters here. And I'm going to get that list right here in just a moment. So, of course, we have Daisy Ridley playing Rey. I don't know why I blanked on that. We have Adam Driver, of course, playing Kylo Ren. So, does Kylo Ren die? I would have to think so, right? You would have to think Kylo Ren dies in this movie. Does Rey die? Absolutely not. She's the hero of the story. You didn't kill off Luke when he was the hero of the story. You don't kill off Rey when she's the hero of the story. You didn't kill off Obi-Wan when he was the hero of the story. So no, Rey lives. Kylo Ren, it's a very strong case that he's going to die in this movie. A couple of reasons. It's very likely that, of course, Palpatine is going to try to weasel him in as his new apprentice. Possibly even have Rey as his new apprentice. Maybe that's why they're fighting each other. Who knows? Maybe that's the dark side Rey. Again, we don't even know what that is. We don't know if that's a vision. We don't know if that's a clone. We don't know if that's actually Rey. Maybe she's undercover, or maybe she did fall to the dark side at some point in this movie. We don't know. Leia Organa, does Carrie Fisher, does Carrie die in this movie? I don't think they let that happen. I think they let her live on. Maybe there's like, oh, you know, she's doing something as we see in the trailer, and then they're like, oh, what do you call it? General Organa is on a mission to whatever. She'll be back shortly, and the movie's over. That's it. There's no continuation of that. I think that's what happens. Who knows? Luke, of course. Luke is already dead. He's a Force ghost. Palpatine. Does Palpatine die in this movie? For good. I think he has to as well. I think this is where it has to end. Episode 9, this is it. The end of the Skywalker saga. This has to be the end of Palpatine for good, I would assume. Poe Dameron. Does Poe die? No, absolutely not. For a couple of reasons. I think they could do something with this character moving forward. He is kind of like the new Han Solo of the series, so maybe you could have him live and then he'll play around. Zori Bliss, she's this new character played by Kerry Russell. No idea who she is, so I don't really care if she dies or not. Unless I see the movie and I'm like, oh my god, she better not die. General Hux. I think a lot of members of the First Order are dying in this movie. I don't think Hux makes it. I might be wrong, but I think a lot of members of the First Order are dying. Maz Kanata, no way she's dying in this movie. Snoke, he's already dead. Lando Calrissian, I think you let him live. I might be wrong, but Rose Tico, she's gonna live. A lot of the rebels are gonna survive. The Resistance is gonna survive. Finn is gonna survive. Should he die? Nah. Should any of these people die? No. But to tell the right, again, I don't know if what story they're telling. Maybe to tell the right story, maybe Finn and Rose and Poe have to die. Who knows? But again, I think there's going to be close calls, like there is in a lot of movies. There's going to be a lot of close calls, but I don't think anyone's really going to die, except for the people that I've mentioned so far. So, that leads kind of into my next point, which is, does this all wrap together? Does this all make sense? Does episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 make sense together? Let's be honest. Does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 make sense together? More or less, right? A lot of the events in 1, 2, and 3 don't really relate to what happens in 4, 5, and 6 per se in regards to, like, you know, Trade Federation stuff and whatnot. But it does lead to the overall arc that is the building of the Republic's empire, which becomes the Empire. It all leads to that. You know, the undermining deals that Palpatine played around with in regards to the Separatists as he was the head of the Republic, or lead senator in the Republic, had to do with a lot with him gaining control at some point in episode 3 when Jar Jar Binks goes, I declare that we hand over power to Palpatine. And so there is a correlation there. And then there's 4, 5, and 6. And then the events of 6, the end of 6, the world is a beautiful place. The Empire has fallen. At least we are led to believe the world is a beautiful place. The Empire falls, and we are led to believe at the end of 6 that the world is going to be happy-go-lucky. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be great. But what we find out if we watch The Mandalorian, and remember, The Mandalorian is only 5 years removed from episode 6. The world isn't that great. You know, there's warlords, there's drug lords, there's mercenaries, there's everyone you could think of coming out of the cracks to try to lead this new world. You know, the Republic is in charge now, but at what cost is it to civilization that the Empire is gone? You know, the thing is, as evil as they were, they had order and structure, and that's what a lot of people want in their lives. And so there's a lot of not that going on, and so it's chaotic in The Mandalorian. If you read the book Aftermath, that trilogy series of books, You learn a lot more about the creation of the First Order and the different factions that were around in the galaxy at the time, fighting for power and fighting for people's trust to be the new ultimate, governmental power to go against the Republic. Because again, there's a lot of sympathizers of the Empire. There was, I don't know how many. There's thousands, maybe even millions of sympathizers of the Empire. And then at some point, it becomes the First Order. So much so that, they love the Empire so much so that they more or less, it looks like the Empire, And that's the whole point of the First Order. But maybe, just maybe, and again, if you read Aftermath, it explains about the Outer Rim. It talks about a being in the Outer Rim. Someone is out there. Maybe that's Palpatine. You know what I'm saying? You got to read these books, guys. Maybe there's a connection when we see the Rise of Skywalker. Maybe there's the connection as to, it was me in the Outer Rim, or something like that. This is why I'm excited for this movie and also a little concerned because you could do a lot of things here. But so you got to check out those books. Again, after the Empire fell, it wasn't happy-go-lucky rainbows and lollipops, There was a lot of stuff going on. So The Rise of Skywalker is a movie that I'm extremely excited to see in a couple of days. Does that mean it's going to be amazing? Absolutely not. It doesn't mean it's going to be any good, but what it means is the conclusion to the saga of Skywalker is upon us, and that just means one thing. It means that you better go get your tickets, check out this movie, and make Disney more money. But I'm excited to see what the conclusion of the saga is. I really am. There's no way that none of us, let's be honest. If you didn't like the Rise of the Last Jedi or Force Awakens, or you liked one and you didn't like the other, and vice versa, or you didn't like both, or whatever. There's no way you're not intrigued by what Episode 9 is going to be. You may not be excited. You may not be pumped up and hoorah, let's go. But you got to be at least intrigued. And that's what I'm hoping for, is going to get people in the seats. So that has been my little discussion, rambling of my expectations for The Rise of Skywalker. I hope it's a really good movie. And I hope it explains a lot more things about Snoke and everything else in this movie. Because there's not going to be a 10, at least for a long time. And 10 won't be the continuation of the Skywalker saga. This is it. So let's just hope they answer the questions. If you guys want to talk more Star Wars, just head over to factsnotincluded.com/forum. Start a discussion there. Let's talk Star Wars on there. If you want to talk Star Wars on Twitter or Facebook, we could do that too on there as well. Or email us at factsnotincluded@gmail.com. And if you want to wear merchandise from here at Facts Not Included, a t-shirt, you want to get a mug, a pillow, a really cool phone case, a notebook, or whatever, head over to tpublic.com and just search Facts Not Included. And there's going to be a bunch of stuff there from us at Facts Not Included. But, of course, I enjoyed you guys listening to this episode with me. Again, if you're curious, I am sick. I have a cold or something. I don't know. I got it from one of my good friends. So I apologize if I sounded a little off today, but that's what it is. All right? I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'll speak to you again real soon. Bye-bye.